customer flakiness or lack of clarity. Who's run into that?
Everyone.
This costs too, and you know, if you have a good business owner or project owner that really understands software development, really understands how to be concrete, how to make decisions, because they know the cost impact of being unclear. You're looking at a feature in Pivotal, and you know, how many times you go back, it's rejected, and you go back and reread it, and you're like, I didn't understand this the first time, you know. But it wasn't necessarily your fault, it was poorly explained, you know. You interpreted it one way, maybe even you were with a pair. I've done it in a pair situation where we as a pair could not figure out what was intended there, and maybe you had a dialogue with the customer. That's the ideal, is you can go back and, you know, if they're always available, maybe they're on Skype, and you can just say, hey, what did you mean here, you know. If they're not, there's time and cost involved in that. So cost scale, this is sort of the idea. There's cost scale linearly with the number of views, models, and external integrations. Maybe. These are hypotheses, okay? I'm putting this out here as a model that I intend to test, and I'm applying it against some of my own experience. It may turn out that costs don't really scale linearly. I don't have the data, you know. I'm just guessing. I'd like to collect the data, though. And that's another project. Oddball new technologies multiply the uncertainty. The level of polish pervades the system, but multiplies the UI effort in particular. So, now, I was trying to think about how to qualify or quantify what it means to be polished, right? You know, you can say, does it look great? Well, if I could put it on a scale of 1 to 5, here, 1 being embarrassing, the death, you know, 2, the devs just copied whatever napkin scratch you made and did their best with it. You know, maybe you got a designer involved and it's pretty okay. 4, someone with talent really worked on it, it looks really good. 5 is like, you just went back, you know, you have a great designer, you went back, you polished every nook and cranny of the application, it's smooth, it's beautiful, you know, that's eye-gasm, I call that. Yeah, but, you know, these multiply the work that goes into the UI. So anyway, of course, at the heart of any model is a big equation. And so what I've done is I've kind of like put some variables together, and you know, the number of models. Maybe you look at because this is a heuristic approach. You need to look at your experience. So I don't know if you're like me and been doing this for a while. You probably have 15 or 20 projects on your hard drive that you could run some numbers on and just kind of go back and look at, like, especially if you did collect data on either the points or the values of, you know, that went into them, or the work or level of effort that went into them. But if you know something's going to be about 10 or 15 tables in your database or models, you know, and that's some, you know, on average, your points per model turn out to be something like this. Some models are core models, some models are supplementary, some probably don't even have any CRUD involved, they're just in the database for whatever reason. Part of the initial set of data or something like that. The number of views, points per view, polish, number of integrations. Again, the unknown, well, U of X is the unknown or confidence factor. Oddball new technologies, users expected before spending on scaling. That's the way I kind of put it. Like, before you choose to spend on really scaling your system, how many users are you going to have at that point? That's what you need to target for. Now, I have some sort of constants in here. I have no idea if they apply because I'm kind of working out the model, but there's a, or how they apply. Platform scalability, maybe it's simply like, how easy is it to scale Rails? Scaling Rails now is a pretty well understood thing. There's a series of steps that you go through to optimize your database, to move things to background paths, to optimize your servers, your whole stack. Other platforms or other things may or may not be as easy. So some idea of like how easy is it to scale your platform is kind of what I'm putting in here. And the flaky client factor, which I think of as the likelihood of significant changes or rework. So anyway, maybe your total points work out to something like this. I made this a few weeks ago, and it's not all in my head right now, but that little E is a summation kind of thing. Overall, your integrations, yeah, so there's some multiples. And I threw in this constant of 10,000 over n. I don't know. That's like idea. That's like I think that's your idea of how many users you would want to support, or something like that. Power on. So anyway, if you were using something like this and wanted to experiment with it, I don't recommend you use it, to make binding estimates for yourself. My interest is in getting better at getting a rough overview of how long and how much it will cost. After a sprint or iteration during your postmortem, you want to revisit your estimates and compare them to actual results. How many of you do that on a regular basis? Not really. I think whether you're using a model or not, it helps to go back and look at like, hey, what's that? Yeah, I mean, how did I do? I thought this was going to take 10 hours. It took me 30. What's wrong? Yeah, and this is the caveat. This only serves as a bridge the gap between a guess and a full team estimation before complete knowledge of the feature backlog is available. This is not a substitute for the whole team estimation exercise or the agile kind of way of doing it, but I think it will prove useful in getting kind of an overview of your project scope and budget. Anybody have any questions or ideas about this? I'm keenly interested if anyone has any thoughts on estimation. All right, well, thank you very much.